Senate will come to order. I ask everyone present to rise for the presentation of the colors, the color guard from Stratton Air National Guard Base. Gentlemen, present the colors. Please repeat with me the pledge to our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In the absence of clergy, may we bow our heads for a moment of silence. A reading of the journal.
In the Senate, Sunday, June 1st, the Senate met pursuant to adjournment. The journal of Saturday, May 31st, is read and approved. On motion, Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the journal stands approved as read. Presentations of petitions, messages from the Assembly. Secretary will read.
On page 37, Senator Libous moved to discharge from the Committee on Transportation Assembly Bill number 7844B and substitute the identical Senate Bill number 6797A, third reading calendar 516.
So ordered.
On page 61, Senator Valesky moved to discharge from the Committee on Aging Assembly Bill number 8871 and substitute the identical Senate Bill number 7255, third reading calendar 830.
So ordered. Messages from the Governor, reports from standing committees, reports from select committees, communications and reports from state officers, motions and resolutions. Senator Libous.
Senator Valesky, Senator Gianaris, and then come back to me.
If I can remember. Senator Valesky.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of Senator Avella and on page 44, I offer the following amendments to Calendar 625, Senate Bill 6903A, and ask that said bill retain its place on the third reading calendar.
So ordered.
Also on behalf of Senator Avella and on page 27, I offer the following amendments to Calendar 276, Senate Bill 725, and ask that that bill retain its place on the third reading calendar.
So ordered. Senator Gianaris.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of Senator Espaillat, on page number 21, I offer the following amendments to Calendar 107, Senate Print 1728-A, and ask that said bill retain its place on third reading calendar.
Thank you. That will happen. Senator Valesky.
Again, I would move at this time that the following bill be discharged from its respective committee and be recommitted with instructions to strike the enacting clause, and this is on behalf of Senator Carlucci. That's Senate Bill 7579.
So ordered. Senator Libous.
Mr. President, on behalf of Senator Maziarz, I wish to call up his bill, Senate Print 3646A, recalled from the Assembly, which is now at the desk.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 142 by Senator Maziarz, Senate Print 3646A, enact to amend the Arts and Cultural Affairs Law.
I now move to reconsider the vote by which this bill is passed.
Call the roll of reconsideration.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin, ayes 52.
Mr. President, I offer up the following amendments.
Amendments are received.
Again, on behalf of Mr. Senator Maziarz, I wish to call up his bill, Senate Print 6138, recalled from the Assembly, which is now at the desk.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 186 by Senator Maziarz, Senate Print 6138, enact amend the Public Service Law.
Mr. President, I now move to reconsider the vote by which this bill is passed.
Secretary will read the roll call on reconsideration.
Addabbo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin, ayes 52.
Mr. President, I hand up the following amendments.
Amendments are received, sir.
Mr. President, on behalf of Senator Seward, I wish to call up his bill, Senate Print 6505A, recalled from the Assembly, which is now at the desk.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 240 by Senator Seward, Senate Print 6505A, enact amend the Insurance Law.
Mr. President, I now move to reconsider the vote by which this bill is passed.
Call the roll on reconsideration.
Addabbo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin, ayes 52.
Mr. President, I hand up the following amendments.
Amendments are received, sir.
On behalf of Senator Lanza, I wish to call up his bill, Senate Print 4751A, recalled from the Assembly, but it's now at the desk.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 184 by Senator Lanza, Senate Print 4751A, enact amend the Social Services Law.
Mr. President, I now move to reconsider the vote by which this bill is passed.
Call the roll on reconsideration, please.
Addabbo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin, ayes 52.
Mr. President, I offer up the following amendments.
The amendments are received, sir.
Mr. President, on behalf of Senator Marchione, I would wish to call up her bill, Senate Print 6934, recalled from the Assembly, which is now at the desk.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 610 by Senator Marchione, Senate Print 6934, enact amend the Public Authorities Law.
Mr. President, I now move to reconsider the vote by which this bill is passed.
Call the roll on reconsideration, please.
Addabbo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin, ayes 52.
Mr. President, I hand up the following amendments.
The amendments are received.
On behalf of Senator Ransdorfer, Mr. President, I wish to call up his bill, Senate Print 4324, recalled from the Assembly, and it's now at the desk.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 246 by Senator Ransdorfer, Senate Print 4324, enact to amend the not-for-profit
Mr.
corporation.
President, I now move to reconsider the vote by which this bill is passed.
Call the roll on reconsideration, please.
Addabbo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin, ayes 52.
Mr. President, I offer up the following amendments.
Amendments are received.
Mr. President, again, on behalf of Senator Ransdorfer, I'd like to call up his bill, Senate Print 6718A, recalled from the Assembly, and it's now at the desk.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 333 by Senator Ransdorfer, Senate Print 6718A, enact amend Chapter 154 of the laws of 1921.
Mr. President, I now reconsider the vote by which this bill is passed.
Please call the roll. Call on reconsideration.
Addabbo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin, ayes 52.
I now hand up the following amendments.
The amendments are received, sir.
Thank you. Mr. President, on behalf of Senator Flanagan, I wish to call up calendar number 279, Assembly Print 121, and I move to reconsider the vote by which this Assembly bill was substituted for Senator Flanagan's bill, Senate Print 6671, on May 20th.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 279 by member of the Assembly known, Assembly Print 121, enact amend the Education Law.
Mr. President, I now move that Assembly Bill 121 be recommitted to the Committee on Rules and that Senator Flanagan's bill be restored to the order of third reading calendar.
It will be done, sir.
I now offer up the following amendments.
They will be received and accepted.
And, Mr. President, I have amendments are offered on the following third reading calendar bills. On behalf of Senator Little, page 22, calendar 143, Senate Print 4358B. On behalf of Senator Ransdorfer, page 26, calendar 248, Senate Print 5111. On behalf of Senator Boyle, page 31, calendar 398, Senate Print 4988. On behalf of Senator Martins, it would be page 32, calendar number 441, Senate Print 5160A. On behalf of Senator Golden, on page 39, it would be calendar number 548 and Senate Print 7008. On behalf of Senator O'Mara, on page 60, calendar number 814, Senate Print 7273. On behalf of Senator Flanagan, on page 64, it would be calendar 859 and Senate Print 6762. On behalf of Senator Marchione, on page 65, calendar 862, Senate Print 6952. On behalf of Senator Maziarz, it would be page 68, calendar 891, Senate Print 7026. And, Mr. President, on behalf of Senator Ghazzani, page 70, calendar 912, Senate Print 7344A. Mr. President, I move that these bills retain their place on the third reading calendar.
It will be done, sir.
Mr. President, at this time, I have a resolution at the desk by Senator Larkin. It has been previously adopted. It's resolution number 5398. At this time, could you please have the clerk read it in its entirety and call on Senator Larkin?
Clerk will read. Can we have some order in the House? Thank you.
Legislative Resolution Number 5398 by Senator Larkin, commemorating the 70th anniversary of the D-Day invasion on June 6, 2014. Whereas, on June 6, 1944, the military might of the Allies combined for the most extensive aerial and seaborne assault ever planned. The D-Day invasion at the beaches of Normandy, France, changed the direction of the World War II in the history of the 20th century. Planned for over 2 years by the Allied forces, the D-Day invasion was an intricate coordination of the world's greatest military forces, and as an exercise in cooperation that marked the turning point of the war in the world's history. And whereas the Allied invasion of Europe, codenamed Operation Overlord, consisted of 5 infantry divisions, 2 American, 2 British, and 1 Canadian, assigned to beaches codenamed from west to east, Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, and Sword. On the first day of the invasion, 2 American airborne divisions landed behind the western end of the assault line and 1 British at the eastern, while amphibious armor was to swim ashore with the leading waves. And whereas the Americans constituted the United States First Army under Major General Omar Bradley, and the British and Canadians, the British Second Army, under General Miles Dempsey. And whereas the invasion was supported by more than 13,000 fighter, bomber, and transport aircraft that between April 1st and June 5th, 1944, flew 200,000 sorties and succeeded in breaking all the bridges across the Seine and Loire rivers to isolate the Normandy invasion area from the rest of France. And whereas the air campaign was designed not only to disrupt German anti-invasion preparations, but also to serve as a deception operation in an attempt to persuade the enemy that the landings would be made in Pas de Calais area directly opposite Dover, England, rather than in Normandy. And whereas, meanwhile, intensive logistic preparations provided by May 1944, almost 6,500 ships and landing craft, which would land nearly 200,000 vehicles and 600,000 tons of supplies in the first 3 weeks of Operation Overlord. And whereas June 5, 1944 was fixed as unalterable date by Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Forces, General Dwight D. Eisenhower. On May 17th, as the day approached and troops began to embark for the crossing, bad weather set in, threatening dangerous landing conditions. After tense debate, a 24-hour delay was decided on, requiring the recall of some ships already at sea. And whereas, on the morning of June 5th, assured of a weather break, an armada of 3,000 landing craft, 2,500 other ships, and 500 naval vessels began to leave English ports that night. 822 aircraft carrying parachutists or towing gliders roared overhead to the Normandy landing zones. And whereas the airborne troops were the D-Day vanguard, and their landings were a heartening success, the American 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions, dropping into a deliberately inundated zone at the base of the Cotentin Peninsula, suffered many casualties, but nevertheless secured their objective. The British 6th Airborne Division seized its objectives at the eastern end, and its special task force also captured key bridges over the Caen Canal and Orne River. And whereas, when the seaborne units began to land at dawn on June 6, the British and Canadians on Gold, Juneau, and Sword beaches overcame light opposition, as did the Americans at Utah. The American 1st Division at Omaha Beach, however, confronted the best of the German coast divisions, and its landing threatened to fail. Only dedicated local leadership eventually got the troops inland. And whereas on June 7, 1944, the beachhead consisted of 3 separate sectors, the British and Canadian between Caen and Bayeux, that of the American 5th Corps between Port-et-Bessin and Saint-Pierre-du-Mont, and that of the American 7th Corps west of the Vire River behind Utah Beach. And whereas the narrow gap between Gold and Omaha at Port-en-Bessin was quickly closed, but it was not until June 12th that the American Corps were able to capture Carentan. The beachhead then formed a continuous zone deepest southwest of Bayeux, where the Fifth Corps had driven nearly 15 miles inland. And whereas, thanks to the success of the airborne landings, the flanks of the beachhead were firmly held, but efforts to break out of the center were frustrated by fierce German resistance and counterattacks, particularly around the Caen and British Canadian sector. And whereas the Americans were able to break into the base of the Cotentin Peninsula and advance on Cherbourg, the last bastion of the heavily fortified city fell on June 28th, and clearance of the port began at once. The German defense of Normandy had taken a turn for the worse. Saint-Lô fell in the second and third weeks of July, and the success of the American First Army's battle of attrition was to lay the basis for the long-awaited breakout. And whereas the Normandy campaign was a stunning success, by early September 1944, all but a fraction of France had been liberated, and American and British Canadian forces occupied Belgium, and parts of the Netherlands, and had reached the German frontier. And whereas it is the sense of this legislative body that when events of such historical consequences are brought to our attention, they should be celebrated and recognized by all citizens of this great state of New York. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this legislative body pause its deliberations to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the D-Day invasion on June 6, 2014.
Harkin.
Thank you, Mr. President. In just a short few minutes, you heard the history of D-Day. But just look to your right, and there are the veterans of World War II. Please stand, ladies and gentlemen. How's that? Good start? I'm really honored for the Army folks here. I don't know how the Air Force got here because all they did was run over, drop the bombs, and come home and get martinis. And the sailors, they lived in nice, clean sheets. But think about that day, Operation Overlord. It had been going on for over 3 months. Problems arose constantly about weather. How about the channel? What was going on? Were the Higgins boats that were made in New Orleans, Louisiana, fitted enough? We were trying in this battle things that had never been tried before. Landing vehicles infantry, landing vehicles tanks, landing vehicles supplies. It was a exercise that never was dreamed of. The largest armada in the world in any battle that this country or any other country has participated in. But you know, we had a leader. And there's a motto with our servicemen: leader, get out of the way. General Eisenhower had a glass of water one night with Montgomery, the British general, and the British general said to him, "I don't think." General Eisenhower was reported to say, "We don't get paid to think, we get paid to act." The delay was 1 day. And then Eisenhower said, "It's now or never, because in a month it'll be worse." What did he do that afternoon? There's a paper on your desk. There's a sheet missing. It'll be added to both sides of the aisle. It shows Eisenhower in the Ike jacket down there talking to the troops, airborne. And he said very clearly, and it's look in the documents you have. He said, "Men, this is the most important action this military will ever take in this war. We cannot fail. If we fail, I will assume my responsibilities because I didn't do it right." That's leadership. That's what we needed on D-Day. 10,000 Americans were killed that morning. Over 21,000 were wounded, later died on the beaches. Some of the material you'll look at, you'll see them coming off the barges and getting shot dead right at the barge. Never got on the land. But one of the things that Eisenhower did when the battle plan started, I wasn't there. I graduated from basic training on the 6th of June, so I couldn't be there to test it. What did they do? They took phony air balloons out on the southern end of France and put them in as paratroopers. So the Germans switched where they were and went down and were shooting at empty gliders and a balloon-phased airborne unit. They put forces in there galore, diverted them from where the main battle was, and we were very successful. This fight, this day, 70 years ago, made this country safe, because the battle from there on, up into France, Belgium. Some of you get a picture of Belgium and you'll see the crosses that were a result of this war. This was a war that we'll never forget. This is a war we should never, and we should remember. The total losses that we had that one day, they said the average age was 21 years old. 21. My colleagues in the room have been there. My good friend from the 1st Cavalry Division, I salute you. But I was in the 7th, not the 8th. What are we saying? We owe these men a debt of gratitude. You don't owe me anything. But the men and women that came back, somebody forgot there's an organization called WASP, W-A-S-P, and I'm not talking religion. They did flying of all types of aircraft to bring supplies to the east, and they did flights overseas into England for us. This was a day, at the end of the day, General Mark Clark in Italy sent Eisenhower a note, and he said, I have always been amazed at your brilliance and being a tactician. I am more proud of you today than ever. You are the greatest leader this nation has ever had. And he was. I look at the empty seats here, kind of disappointing, because we're talking about people who gave their lives, and we don't have a few minutes to say, do it. Operation Overlord made it so that we were successful. And we were successful in Italy and Africa, into Germany. And we were also capable of having the forces to do the same thing in the Pacific. I'm proud. I'm very proud of my colleagues here. Very proud of our servicemen from World War II. But don't go home tonight and say it's over, and Thursday, when it's the real day, we'll speak up. If some of you, many of you, I've been told, have taken pictures down by, you ought to sit by, look at Eisenhower when he was talking to the airborne troops. You should look at some of those beachheads, and you saw young kids, some of them as old as your children, never made it off the barges. And you ought to say to yourself tonight, we are a blessed nation because we had Americans that put their country before their self. I'd like to ask everybody to stand up for a moment. In a moment of silence on behalf of those who participated in that battle and those who never came home. Thank you.
Senator Skelos.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank Colonel Senator Larkin for your service to our great country and to your comments right now. Thank you, Senator. We honor the veterans that served our country in World War II. We honor our veterans that have served our country throughout the years and for generations. At this time in particular, we approach the 70th anniversary of D-Day. We are recognizing the incredible courage of our World War II veterans, including our own Senator Bill Larkin. I'd like to welcome Senator Ball's grandfather, Herman Schreiber, and wish him a happy 88th birthday. So, happy birthday. I want to point out that my father, who's 93, served in the Merchant Marines and actually just retired. And my wife, Gail's father, served in the cavalry during World War II. And there's a reason why the people that served in World War II are known as the greatest generation. That's because June 6, 1944 was the greatest day of the greatest generation. On that day, the largest amphibious invasion force ever turned the tide of world's history, from oppression to freedom, from brutality that we saw at the killing camps of Adolf Hitler, and less than a year later, from war to peace. And it all began with the incredible bravery and sacrifice on the beaches of Normandy 70 years ago. The cost of freedom was very high. More than 9,000 to 10,000 Allied military personnel were killed or wounded. And Senator Larkin mentioned how the average age was 21. If you ever have an opportunity to go to one of the American cemeteries in Europe, I was never at Normandy, but I was to Luxembourg and a couple of others in the Netherlands. And when I asked the commandant who was giving us a tour what was the average age, it was actually even less than 21. I think he said the oldest person in the cemetery was in his early 30s. So think about what that generation of young men and women did to protect our freedoms. And that's something we should all remember as we serve here in the state Senate and as we serve our constituents. There's a tremendous display in the LOB that I would urge you to go by and take a look at. Videos, different mobile devices that were used during the war, and to see what our men and women were using as compared to what we have today. So to all of our World War II veterans, especially those who served on D-Day, we say thank you to you. For those of you who are no longer with us, we will always remember you. And we should also remember that as they came home, they helped create the greatest economy, the greatest expansion of an economy, and the greatest nation in the world. So Senator Larkin, again, I thank you for your service. And to the men that are here, we thank you, and women, we thank you for your service. Thank you.
Senator Serrano.
President, and I just wanted to also thank Senator Larkin and all of our colleagues here for supporting this really important resolution. And, you know, growing up, one of the things that interests me, and I'm not sure why, but I've always been so interested in World War II history. I've studied it a great deal. I have a pretty extensive library of books on the subject. I even had the good fortune in the 1990s of traveling to London, and I visited the Imperial War Museum, where you're able to see firsthand so much of the machinery that was used during this conflict. And even in Hollywood, you know, there were a number of really good movies that in many ways accurately depicted, or as close as possible, what was going on during that time. I think of Saving Private Ryan and The Longest Day, and there was many other movies. And of course, it is Hollywood, but throughout all of that, there is some bit of reality as to what soldiers were dealing with. And World War II was so much more than just a war. It was really a struggle for the human race. It was really so much a turning point for humanity. The conflict and how the United States entered into that conflict really at a time where things seemed insurmountable. And soldiers, many of who are represented here, who were willing to sort of disrupt their lives, not just for that moment, but for the rest of their lives, to enter into a conflict to fight against the evils of tyranny. People like myself, okay, born in the 1970s, never having lived through that conflict, only reading about it and hearing about it from those who are older than me, I empathize so deeply with how incredible that struggle must have been, and the burden. Things that I took for granted when I was in my early 20s, you know, being in college, hanging out with my friends. Well, that generation in the 1940s were wondering if they were going to be on a ship the next morning, if they were going to be on a beach, fighting for their lives. And they knew that the reality was that many of them would not be coming home. The psychological effect that that has, not only at that present moment, but something that they carry with them throughout their lives. My fear is that as generations come and go, that we will forget what happened. And that's why I think it's wonderful that that display is down in the LOB. And when I saw it, I got so excited and took a lot of photos because this wasn't Hollywood. This was real. Those bullets were real. The cloud of tyranny over Europe was getting closer to our shores. A lot of people don't realize that there were U-boats up and down the coast of the United States, and they were attacking our ships and attacking our harbors. And that on the Pacific front, the Axis forces were doing tremendous harm and damage at Pearl Harbor and in other places. This was truly a global conflict, and it was squeezing everything that was so important about the United States and why we stood for the things that we stood for. So when I hear a resolution like today, I want Colonel Larkin to know that the lessons have not been lost on my generation, if I have anything to do with it, because I think that this is something that we must never lose our vigilance on. The same battles that the soldiers who were fighting in World War II, that evil is not gone forever. It can return at any given moment. And we can't be complacent, and we always have to be vigilant and stand up against injustice in any form, stand up against bigotry and racism and the totalitarian tyranny that we saw that sort of grew in the 1930s and 40s throughout Europe. So I thank Colonel Larkin, Senator Larkin, and my colleagues for bringing this resolution, and I hope that we do continue to teach this lesson, that it be accurately taught to future generations in schools, to know that the sacrifices that were made for the freedoms that we take for granted this day and age. Thank you.
Senator Zolio.
President, on the resolution. Mr. President, my colleagues, I wish to thank Senator Skelos and Senator Larkin, Senator Ball for bringing this resolution before us. Last week, I stood tall with Colonel Larkin in front of the Normandy Day, the D-Day memorial demonstration in our state capitol. I proudly stood with Senator Larkin as he read to me President Eisenhower's letter, handwritten, which took full responsibility for the success or failure of this important mission. 5,000 ships, 11,000 airplanes, 150,000 servicemen. I want to talk about two of those servicemen very briefly. As mankind faced one of its darkest hours, the men who fought in D-Day turned the tide of World War II and helped
us prevent the enslavement of the world, protect liberty, and preserve that liberty for future generations across the globe. One such man was Tony DiTomaso of Auburn. As a member of the 299th Combat Engineer Battalion, many of whom were also from Auburn and central New York, Tony was among the first wave of troops that landed on the beaches of Normandy during the invasion. Tony was only 19 when he and his fellow soldiers fought to clear the beaches so that the Allied troops could set up their command pass. During that battle, 6 members of the 299th made the ultimate sacrifice and died while fighting to liberate the world. When I first met Tony a few years ago, we discussed the tremendous sacrifices that were made by the 299th Engineer Combat Battalion during the entire war. His devotion to his fellow veterans was inspiring, and he asked me to pledge to him that I would do all possible to ensure that the accomplishments of those men, the recognition of their sacrifice, like the men seated here today, would never be forgotten. Well, my pledge to Tony, who unfortunately is no longer with us, continues today. And our thanks to your greatest members of the greatest generation for your wonderful sacrifices. Also, a member of that historic generation is Joseph Mack from the town of Macedon in Wayne County, who was recently selected by the Greatest Generations Foundation to return to Normandy for the 70th anniversary of D-Day. Joe is traveling to Normandy as we speak to be honored by the French Legion of Honor and receive the Legion of Honor Medal for his service during World War II. Joe, congratulations for your recognition you deserve, and our special thanks for all that you, Tony DiTomaso, the 299th, and all who gave their sacrifice. As the saying goes, all gave some, and some gave all. And those are the sacrifices we recognize today. Mr. President, it's indeed my honor to rise and discuss this very important resolution and to thank those who brought it to the attention so that we never forget those sacrifices and we ensure the legacy of memory and honor continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Nozzolio. Senator Marchone.
Thank you. I rise in support of this resolution as well, and thank you, Senator Larkin and Senator Ball and others for bringing this to us. D-Day is such an important part of our history and our freedom, and that second generation and the human element of it absolutely has earned the greatest generation notoriety. And you know, I think about my own father-in-law, who was a gunner in the belly of a plane and made 26 missions, where they only usually last 6 missions and you're killed. And I think of my own father during that time, who wasn't old enough to be in the Navy, yet at 14 he decided he was and joined the service. And you think about the movie stars then and the sports people, they never got out of going to war. They went to war. These men that are here today sitting in front of us, they are a member of the greatest generation of a group of American citizens who gave it all. And as they were giving it all to us, their wives and their families were back home growing gardens and using rationings. They all sacrificed. We now have a group of people in the military that sacrificed, and sometimes we ourselves don't do enough. But I want just to thank you for all that you've done, for all of our veterans, for all that they've given. And I'm honored today to have with me, sitting up front from my district, Ray Dupree. And Ray, if I could ask that you stand, his daughter, Marla, heard that we were having this ceremony today, and without any sleep, because she's a nurse and works all night, said, I want my dad to be here. And I'm so thrilled, Ray, if you'd stand, please, and be recognized, that you're with us today. I don't think Ray hears well any longer. But thank you, Ray. I wanted to honor you. I wanted to say thank you. Thank the sponsors. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Marchone. Senator Ball.
I'm going to yield the floor. Senator O'Meara is going to sing happy birthday to my grandfather. So, no?
It's just my birthday, too.
It's also his birthday as well, so there's going to be a hell of a party in about 3 hours. If the Balls, the Schreibers, and the O'Mearas get together, it would be a hell of a party. Senator Larkin, thank you. Thank you, and I know many times we say thank you, but I want to thank you for something a little different. It has been a pleasure to serve in this conference and to watch over the past 4 years what it means to live a life well lived and to be honored by your peers and your community accordingly in a way that I can't imagine most people could ever self-actualize. We all want to do the best we can to live the best life we can, to give back to our community, to have a loving family and to be productive, and you are a man who personifies a life well lived, and you are an example to all of us, and I thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. We put together a trip down to the World War II memorial. I was a young Air Force officer when they were building that memorial in Washington, D.C. And I've got to say that outside of graduating from the United States Air Force Academy, the best day of my life was taking approximately 50 World War II veterans, including my grandfather, Hermie Schreiber, down to that World War II memorial. We went down there and joined efforts with Congressman Maloney and Congressman Gibson. One of my friends was at that point the head of the United States Air Force Honor Guard. Hopefully Senator Larkin won't hold that against him or I. And we were down on that memorial. This is a few weeks actually before the federal government found it within their interest to shut the place down. They were extremely lucky that it was not shut down on that day, because I know that probably Congressman Maloney, Congressman Gibson, and Senator Ball would have been arrested, because I would have called the Teamsters and I would have went through the gates. And everybody who knows me, including my mother and my staff, know that is exactly true. We would have visited that memorial regardless. But that day, it was a beautiful blue sky. We had these men and women there. And you know what? The United States Air Force Honor Guard did a presidential level ceremony for these heroes. And the tourists came around. We had about 1,000 people watching on that day, and there was not a dry eye. If you think about World War II, and a couple times I've heard people say, we will never forget. I don't know. 9/11, how many people have already forgotten that? World War II, we lose these heroes every day. We are in the midst right now of a downsize of our military in this country that is unprecedented. You know, many of these men were drafted. Today, we live in this country, enjoy enormous freedom on their backs and on the backs of Special Forces troops and combat troops that serve today who volunteer and represent less than 1% of the population. We've had recent conflicts where those Special Forces troops have gone in to battle, and this country did not back them. If you want men and women to stand up and say, I'm willing to fight and die for this country, you sure as hell better be there when their butt's on the line. We were a very different country back then in World War II. 60 million people, including civilians, perished. 2.5% of the world's population. 2.5%. Every single able-bodied young man stood up, and many women, to fight, and many died for this country.
And those that were here, left in this country, stood up, they sacrificed, and we had the best manufacturing might, and we were able to go to war. Could we today? And would we? How many of you would send your children? So as we stand here today and we honor these heroes, and I know I speak to the choir with most of you, we better realize that this country is very different than it was when these men, and many of the friends that never came back, stood up. And we better learn from that lesson, because history has a funny way of repeating itself. June 11th, the beachheads were secured. 326,000 troops had crossed. Over 100,000 tons of equipment. Paris was liberated. Talk about forgetting history. Paris was liberated August 25th. And Germany surrendered on May 8th, 1945. I know we all have images in our head when we think of World War II. I think of troops killing Jews, and I think of an image in my head that is iconic of a Jewish mother hovered over her children as soldiers aim on her and kill her. You talk about evil? That's evil. And you're right, evil still exists all around this world. And that American flag represents the last remaining hope of defending moms and children and innocent people all around this world. You can choose to deny it, but we must accomplish and continue to accomplish peace through strength. And if you don't stand for anything, people will die. This country needs to continue to stand for what's right. Okay, so I want to go through some names here. We have Peter Barney Bambase, who's United States Air Force, Private First Class. John Graziano, Navy. Please stand up and hear your name. Third Class Petty Officer. Peter Senatore, Army, Lieutenant. Jack Alonzo, Navy, who's here with his wife, and they've been married 56 years. And that's his beautiful wife, Virginia Alonzo. As a guy at 36 that's not married, I'm going to talk to you guys later. I want to know what the secret is, okay? Hermie Schreiber, my grandfather, it's his 88th birthday today. He doesn't look a day over 35. And actually my mother, who's here as well, Judy Ball, who is responsible for me, so the Democrats, you can yell at her, okay? And we have Ray Dupree from Senator Marchionne's district, who's Army and Army Air Corps Private First Class. I'll leave you with this. And you know, at the United States Air Force Academy, we had to memorize these quotes, which I just hated, but I realize now the importance. And this quote is one that I'm not good at memorization, but this is one that I actually did remember, but I can't say it, verbatim, so I'm going to read it. But I did remember it when I was a cadet. A professional soldier understands, and it's by General Norman Schwarzkopf, who's also a Valley Forge alumni. Storm and Norman. A professional soldier understands that war means killing people. War means maiming people. War means families left without fathers and mothers. All you have to do is hold your first dying soldier in your arms and have that terribly futile feeling that his life is flowing out and you can't do anything about it. Then you understand the horror of war. Any soldier worth his salt should be anti-war, and still there are things worth fighting for. There are still things worth fighting for in this chamber, in this country. I hope to God that this nation remains strong, that our leadership wakes up, because there are people around this world that will rely upon the courage of men like that. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless everyone.
As indicated, the resolution commemorating the 7th anniversary of D-Day invasion was adopted on May 29, 2014. We again welcome our guests. We honor you, we thank you, and we will always remember. Thank you very much. Senator Libous.
Have Senator Larkin would like to open this resolution up to all the members of the House, so if our policy goes, if someone is not interested, please let the desk know.
So noted. Senator Libous.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are now going to go to another previously adopted resolution, 5211 by Senator Hassel Thompson. If you could read the title only and call on Senator Hassel Thompson, please.
Secretary will read.
Legislative Resolution Number 5211 by Senator Hassel Thompson, memorializing Governor Andrew M. Cuomo to proclaim June 2014 as Gun Violence Awareness Month in the state of New York.
Senator Hassel Thompson.
President, I rise to just talk for a moment on Gun Violence Awareness Month. Last year, New York was the first state in the nation to designate June as Gun Violence Awareness Month. As the tragedy in California has once again illustrated, gun violence is significantly on the rise across our nation. It is no longer simply an issue derived from poverty versus wealth, city versus suburb, black versus white, gang versus gang. It is about people versus people. Gun violence touches everyone's lives. Look at the toddler who shot his brother. Once again this June, communities across New York will come together to devise programs, events, activities, and working group sessions to change the culture surrounding gun violence. The goals for Gun Violence Awareness Month are threefold. One is to promote greater awareness about gun violence and foster community urgency to eradicate it. Two is to concentrate annual heightened attention to gun violence during the month it starts to rise. And three, to bring citizens and thoughtful leaders together in the months leading up to and including June to develop ways to end gun violence. We must work together to stem this senseless violence through legislation, education, community, and a community awareness. Many of you celebrated with me 2 years ago a young man who was a part of the New York State Championship basketball players from the city of Mount Vernon. He this week was shot in a crossfire. He was not the intended victim, and yet the gun violence in our community continues to escalate. He is an NBA draft choice and may lose that opportunity because of gun violence. For him and for others who have lost their lives, this is an issue that requires all of our attention. Many of us stood together across party lines and across ethnic lines and gender lines today to declare that violence is absolutely unnecessary and unacceptable, and that gun violence in our communities must stop. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Hassel Thompson. As previously indicated, the resolution was adopted on May 29th of 2014. Senator Libous.
Mr. President, Senator Parker has previously adopted Resolution 3646. Could we have the title read and call on Senator Parker, please?
The Secretary will read.
Legislative Resolution Number 3646 by Senator Parker, memorializing Governor Andrew M. Cuomo to proclaim June 2014 as Caribbean American Heritage Month in the state of New York.
Senator Parker.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the resolution?
Senator Parker on the resolution.
As many of you know, I represent the 21st District in Brooklyn, which is Flatbush and East Flatbush, Midwood, Ditmas Park, Kensington, Windsor Terrace, and Park Slope. I represent and have the proud distinction of representing the largest concentration of Caribbean immigrants in the world outside of the Caribbean. And so it's really a pleasure and an honor for me to stand before you today in being the primary sponsor of this important resolution designating June as Caribbean American Heritage Month. From government officials like Congresswoman Yvette D. Clarke and Secretary of State Colin Powell, to entertainers like Harry Belafonte and Sidney Poitier, and to academics like W.E.B. Du Bois and James Weldon Johnson, Caribbean Americans have played a vital role in shaping New York and Brooklyn from colonial times to the present. And quite honestly, New Yorkers know the Caribbean American heritage is not only part of the story of America, but it's all of our stories. And that's why in June we celebrate the heritage and honor the contributions of Caribbean Americans have made to our community. Acting at the urging of Congresswoman Barbara Lee, Congress adopted June as Caribbean Heritage Month in 2006. The purpose was to recognize the significance of Caribbean Americans and their descendants to the history and culture of the United States. These are influential Caribbean Americans, including U.S. Attorney U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, actress Cicely Tyson. There are a lot of people in New York State, obviously, with this heritage over time. Some of us may even know that the first person of African descent ever elected to the state legislature was Bertram Baker, who was from the island of Nevis. There are lots of other folks like Malcolm X, who we spoke about during his birthday last year, as well as Marcus Garvey, who created the UNIA, the United Negro Improvement Association, really the largest organization of people of African descent in the world. You have editor-in-chief of Essence Magazine, Susan Taylor, and people like Edwidge Dandicat, who actually comes from my district, who is a well-known Haitian author and someone who is who's written and known in academia for both her writing in English, Creole, and in French, as well as Maurice Ashley, the first African-American win the chess grandmaster title, all of Caribbean descent. In Brooklyn, we know that June is a great time to enjoy Caribbean food, music, literature, history, and communities in Brooklyn make this special. The country's inhabitants of the Caribbean are not merely neighbors. It is impossible to imagine New York, and particularly Brooklyn, without the vibrant presence of the 60,000 immigrants of Caribbean descent who are families, friends, treasured partners in the prosperous and equality of our life and communities. I know in passing, by the way, that the importance of the Caribbean American immigrant in New York history is one of the many obvious reasons for passing the DREAM Act. And we hope that we still have time to make that important legislation happen before the end of this legislative session. And also we need to continue to advocate on the federal level for comprehensive immigration reform so that our ties with the Caribbean that have always been important to New York continue to remain strong. It is time, as I said earlier this year and last year, and for all the years I've been here, to advocate for the passage of the DREAM Act, that we will provide a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants and give their children a path for succeeding in education by passing immigration reform as well. That is one of the best and most meaningful ways that I can imagine this body and the state celebrating Caribbean Heritage Month this month. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Parker. As indicated, the resolution was adopted on 2/27 of 2014. Senator Libous.
We return to motions, I believe.
We'll
Senator
return to
Valesky has a
motions.
motion.
Senator Valesky.
Mr. President, on behalf of Senator Carlucci, on page 43, I offer the following amendments to Calendar 613, Senate Bill 6846, and ask that said bill retain its place on the third reading calendar.
Amendments are received and the bill shall retain its place on third reading. Senator Libous.
Mr. President, I too have a motion on behalf of Senator Farley on page 69. I offer the following amendments to calendar number 909, Senate Print 2933A, and ask that said bill retain its place on the third reading calendar.
The amendments are received and the bill shall retain its place on third reading.
And
Senator
at this time,
Libous.
Mr. President, if we could have the reading of the non-controversial
The
calendar.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 42 by Senator Maziar, Senate Print 4673A, an act relating to authorizing.
There's a home rule message at the desk. Secretary will read.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill's passed.
Calendar number 106 by Senator D. Francisco, Senate Print.
Bill's laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 420 by Senator Diaz, Senate Print 6364, an act amending the executive law.
Last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 58, nays 1. Senator Seward, recorded in the negative.
The bill's passed.
Also, Senator D. Francisco. Ayes 57.
Announce the results.
Ayes 56, nays 3. Senators D. Francisco, Griffo, and Seward recorded in the negative.
Bill's passed.
Calendar number 444 by Senator Latimer, Senate Print 5994, an act authorized.
There's a home rule message at the desk. Secretary will read.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 445 by Senator Klein, Senate Print 6579A, enacted in the local finance law.
Last section. Lay to bill side.
Calendar number 448 by Senator Griffo, Senate Print 6720, an act authorizing.
It's a home rule message at the desk. Secretary will read.
Section 7, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 516 by Member of the Assembly Gann, Assembly Print 7844B, an act to amend the vehicle and traffic law.
Last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill's passed. Senator Hoylman to explain her vote. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to state that I'll actually be voting against this bill for the reason that it carves out one car company, Tesla, which we've all heard about, which has an admirable product, but a starting price of $70,000 an automobile. And the question that I have is, what about future Teslas? What about future companies that want to innovate, create consumer choice, bring new products to market? This deal was done behind closed doors, not with any public scrutiny or public hearings, so I'll be voting against it. Thank you, sir.
Senator Hoylman to be recorded in the negative. Re-announce the results.
Ayes 58, nays 1. Senator Hoylman recorded in the negative.
And the bill is passed.
Calendar number 517 by Senator Zeldin, Senate Print 6821, enact them in the vehicle and traffic law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 1st of November.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 590 by Senator Zeldin, Senate Print 3931, an act to amend the real property tax law.
Last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 1st of January.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill's passed.
Calendar number 592 by Senator Zeldin, Senate Print 5735A, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill's passed.
Calendar number 594 by Senator Carlucci, Senate Print 6781, enact amend the real property tax law.
Last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 622 by Senator Young, Senate Print 5855B, enact to amend the environmental conservation law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 57, nays 2. Senators Hoylman and Serrano recorded in the
The
negative.
bill's passed.
Calendar number 637 by Senator Zeldin, Senate Print 7159A, enact amend the environmental conservation law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 642 by Senator Libous, Senate Print 970A, enact amend the vehicle and traffic law.
Last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 90th day.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill's passed.
Calendar number 655 by Senator Griffo, Senate Print 3554, enact amend the vehicle and traffic law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill's passed.
Calendar number 658 by Senator Ritchie, Senate Print 4198, enact amend the vehicle and traffic law.
Last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 120th day.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 662 by Senator Nozzolio, Senate Print 7122, enact amend the vehicle and traffic law.
Last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 1st of April.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 698 by Senator Stewart Cousins, Senate Print 6738A, enact amend Chapter 566 of the laws of 1967.
Read the last section.
Section 7, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, DeFrancisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 706 by Senator Klein, Senate Print 5684A, An act to amend the administrative code of the city of New York.
Last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 58, nays 1. Senator Zeldin recorded in the negative.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 714 by Senator Griffo, Senate Print 1963, an act to amend the education law.
Last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 1st of July.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 717 by Senator Golden, Senate Print 2095A, an act to establish.
Last section.
Section 8, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 723 by Senator Nozzolio, Senate Print 3869, an act establishing.
Last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 735 by Senator Marcelino, Senate Print 1526, an act to amend the real property tax law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 748 by Senator Flanagan, Senate Print 1455, an act to amend the penal law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 90th day.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin.
Senator Sanders to explain his vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise because this is a very worthy goal and a goal that I usually support. However, it did not spell out what would happen if the defendant was indigent, and it could lead to America reconstituting a type of poorhouse. I look forward to that being spelled out more so that if a person simply does not have the money to pay, some other way of working out their sentence could be found. Thank you very much. I vote no.
Senator Sanders to be recorded in a negative. Announce the results.
Ayes 58, nays 1. Senator Sanders recorded the negative.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 789 by Senator Savino, Senate Print 5162C, an act to amend the retirement Social Security law.
Last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill is passed.
On page 58, Senator Savino moved to discharge from the Committee on Civil Service and Pensions Assembly Bill number 9367 and substitute the identical Senate Bill 6998, 30 in calendar 798.
Substitution so ordered and Secretary will read.
Calendar number 798 by Member of the Assembly Abate. Assembly Print 9367, an act to amend the Civil Service Law.
Last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 808 by Senator Flanagan, Senate Print 5363, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 57, nays 2. Senators Avella and Hoylman recorded in the negative.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 812 by Senator Laval, Senate Print 6768A, an act authorizing.
Last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
On page 60, Senator Grisanti moved to discharge from the Committee on Environmental Conservation Assembly Bill number 9430 and substitute the identical Senate Bill number 7216, 30 in calendar 813.
Substitution is so ordered and the Secretary will read.
Calendar number 813 by Member of the Assembly Schimmel, Assembly Print 9430, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 816 by Senator Marcelino, Senate Print 1511A, an act to amend the Vehicle and Traffic Law.
Last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 60th day.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill's passed.
Calendar number 820 by Senator Flanagan, Senate Print 3726, an act to amend the Highway Law.
There is a home rule message at the desk. Secretary will read.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, De Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 821 by Senator Flanagan, Senate Print 3727, an act to amend the Highway Law.
Last section.
Section 2 of the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 830 by Member of the Assembly Millman, Assembly Print 8871, enact to amend the elder law.
Last section.
Section 2 of the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 831 by Senator Marcelino, Senate Print 1484B, enact to amend the agricultural markets law.
Last section.
Section 2 of the statute take effect on the 1st of November.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 58, nays 1. Senator Montgomery recorded in the
The
negative.
bill's passed.
Calendar number 833 by Senator Robach, Senate Print 1978, enact to amend the education law.
Last section.
Section 2 of the statute take effect immediately.
Roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 834 by Senator Griffo, Senate Print 2090A, enact to amend the tax law.
Bills laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 835 by Senator Griffo, Senate Print 2233A, enact to amend the state technology law.
Last section.
Section 5, the statute take effect on the 120th day.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 839 by Senator Griffo, Senate Print 3558D, enact to amend the education law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect July 1, 2015.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill's passed.
Calendar number 841 by Senator Lavelle, Senate Print 3651A, enact to amend the tax law.
Last section.
Section 2 of the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill's passed.
Calendar number 842 by Senator Lanza, Senate Print
Laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 844 by Senator Young, Senate Print 4331, enact to amend the agriculture markets law.
The secretary will read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 878 by Senator Carlucci, Senate Print 1998, enact to amend the real property tax law.
Last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 57, nays 2. Senators D. Francisco and Ranzenhofer recorded in the negative.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 893 by Senator Peralta, Senate Print 129, enact to amend the penal law.
Last section.
Section 8, the statute take effect on the 1st of November.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 928 by Senator Mazier, Senate Print 1051, enact to amend the education law.
Last section.
Section 2 of the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Excuse me. Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 930 by Senator Ranzenhofer, Senate Print 1435, enact to amend the real property tax law.
Read the last section.
Section 2 of the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 940 by Senator Seward, Senate Print 3572A, enact to amend the tax law.
Read the last section.
Section 2 of the statute take effect September 1, 2014.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 953 by Senator Marchone, Senate Print 6160, enact to amend the military law.
Last section.
Section 4 of the statute take effect on the 120th day.
Call the roll.
Adabo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin.
Senator Marchone to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to talk about the issuance of a Korean War Service Medal. You know, those folks who fought in that war between 1950 and 1953 are sometimes known as the Forgotten War. And we don't want our veterans to ever feel that way. We talked about it today with our World War II veterans being the greatest generation. We need to make sure that our Korean War veterans feel that they were not forgotten, and I think that a medal specifically for them will go a long way. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Marchone. To be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 954 by Senator Marchone, Senate Print 6161, enact amend the military law.
Read the last section.
Section 4 of the statute take effect on 120th day.
Call roll.
Addabbo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 1008 by Senator Lanza, Senate Print 4136A, enact amend the real property tax law.
Read the last section.
Section 2 of the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 1010 by Senator Gallivan, Senate Print 6429, enact amend the real property tax law.
Last section.
Section 2 of the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1014 by Senator Skelos, Senate Print 7617, enact amend the Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2 of the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, D. Francisco, Klein, Libous, Skelos, Stewart, Cousins, Zeldin. Ayes 59.
The bill is passed. Senator Libous, that completes the non-controversial reading of today's calendar. Valesky, why do you rise?
Mr. President, would you please lay calendar number 445 aside for the day?
We will return to calendar number 445 by Senator Klein, and the bill will be laid aside for the day. Thank you, Senator Valesky. Senator Libous.
Is there any further business at the desk, Mr. President?
There is no further business before the
There
desk.
being no further business, Mr. President, I move that the Senate adjourn until Tuesday, June 3rd at 10 a.m.
On motion, the Senate stands adjourned until Tuesday, June 3rd at 10 a.m. Senate adjourned.